People in Makerfield voted for their MP. They trusted him to represent them, to fight for their community, to actually do the job they elected him to do. And now he's stepping down so that Andy Burnham can try and win the seat in a by-election so that he can try and become Prime Minister. How arrogant is that? Voters are basically being told, thanks for electing your MP, but we've decided someone more important needs that seat now. That is exactly why so many people feel deceived by politics. Because residents thought they were voting for somebody that would serve their community, not somebody keeping the seat warm for a bigger political figure for a route back to Parliament. And the craziest part, Labour could actually lose the seat completely because they've taken voters for granted. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to talk about one of the most controversial political stories in the country right now. Labour MP Josh Simons has announced he is standing down from Parliament to allow Andy Burnham to contest a seat in a by-election and potentially return to Westminster. And let's be honest here, everybody knows what this is really about. This is about Andy Burnham trying to position himself for a future Labour leadership contest and possibly a run to become Prime Minister. And the way this is happening has left a lot of people quite understandably furious. So here are the facts. Josh Simons, the Labour MP for Makerfield, announced his resignation just the other day. In his own statement, he openly said that he'll be standing aside so that Andy Burnham could re-enter Parliament and drive the change our country is crying out for. So this isn't speculation. This is not some conspiracy theory. The MP himself has basically admitted the seat is being vacated specifically for Burnham. Now, technically, yes, MPs are allowed to resign, but what's angering people is the reason. Residents voted for their representative in a general election not less than 2 years ago, not a temporary placeholder until Labour decided a bigger political figure needed the seat. That is the issue. And the reason this matters politically is simple. Andy Burnham cannot realistically become Labour leader or Prime Minister unless he's back in Parliament. At the moment, he's the Mayor of Greater Manchester, popular, yes, well-known nationally, yes, absolutely. But you can't properly challenge for the Labour leadership from outside Westminster, so Burnham needs a seat. And now suddenly an MP is resigning to create one for him. And honestly, this is exactly the kind of thing that makes people cynical about politics, because ordinary voters don't look at constituencies like political chess pieces. They think, I voted for somebody to represent my town. Simple. But Westminster politics works differently. Safe seats become opportunities. MPs move around. Leadership camps position themselves. Internal party battles take priority. And the voters are just expected to kind of go along with it. And that's why people feel taken for granted, because from the outside, it looks like local communities only matter when politicians need votes. But here's the thing, this could massively backfire because by-elections are incredibly dangerous, and Labour should know that better than anyone else right now. Makerfield might traditionally be a Labour seat, but Reform UK came second there at the last election with a relatively narrow gap. And politically, things have changed a lot since then. Reform is surging in many working class areas. Voters are very angry. Trust in politics is absolutely collapsing. So there's a real possibility people will use this by-election as a protest vote. And imagine the humiliation if Labour triggers this entire by-election for Andy Burnham and then loses the seat completely. That would be unbelievable. And here's something else that most people don't realise. This isn't the first attempt to get Burnham back into Parliament. Earlier this year, there was another by-election in Greater Manchester where people believed a seat was effectively being lined up for him. But Labour's NEC blocked his candidacy after huge internal arguments. That by-election ended up becoming a disaster for Labour. They actually lost the seat. So now people are asking, have they learned absolutely nothing from this? And honestly, this story represents something much bigger than Andy Burnham. It's about whether voters still feel respected. Because if MPs can effectively say, thanks for electing me, but I'm stepping aside now because the party wants someone else, then what exactly are people voting for? A representative or a kind of temporary caretaker? This is why trust in politics keeps falling. People feel manipulated. They feel like decisions are being made behind closed doors while voters are treated like a bit of an inconvenience. Look, maybe Andy Burnham genuinely believes he could be the country's next leader. Maybe some people watching this would even support him being Prime Minister. That's not really the point. The point is how it's being done. Because when voters start feeling deceived, when constituencies start looking like political property, when MPs abandon communities for party strategy, people lose faith in the system itself. And once the trust is gone, it's very hard to get it back. But let me know what you think in the comments. Is this just normal politics? Or is this disrespectful to the people who voted for the MP in the first place? And do you think that Labour could actually lose the seat because voters feel taken for granted, almost like a protest vote? If you enjoyed the video, hit subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.